What's up, everybody? It is JOSHTHEJSYSTEM here. Welcome back to the channel. I know I've been gone for a little bit. I feel like I've been gone and stuck in the void, but now I feel like I've escaped the void, and now I'm here playing a new game on the channel, WWE Supercard. It will be a continuing gameplay for the channel going forward. There will be other games, obviously, but this will be our main focal point going forward. So what do we got going on? So to explain it, it is a battle card game, and there are different game modes to keep everybody invested. So what we have here is what is known as wild mode. This basically just takes whatever you want to run into your deck. You don't have to really have your best cards. You can just throw whatever cards you want in there. Any cards will do, and it helps if you just want to start boosting your cards. It does help. Now we have what is called crack the case. Now this is a new mode that is basically when it is revamped up, when the new one is unlocked, because I'm not going to spend credits on it. But basically what will happen is you'll do this, and you'll guess a 4-digit code, and you'll have to try to guess it through between 0 and 9. Problem is you'll get some will come up as yellow and some will come up as red. My advice: try in the first 2 rounds to get the 4 yellows if possible. It makes it so much easier because then you can figure out where everything goes. Oh, and to clarify with it, you progress as you finish each one. You progress and you get more rewards. As you get rewards, you get bonus chances. The bonus chances are like they're very low. They're always this way. So whenever you see bonus chance, take into account it's very low chances, but it's par for the course. The next mode we have is what is known as Money in the Bank. It's our first introduction to what is our super coins. So you'll basically play up a ladder of 5 matches. You have 6 cards to work through, and you do have some support cards you can use. You have 2 of them to use. And you'll basically, depending on how high you are in the tier listing, it'll either go from 3, 4 to 5. 5 being the highest, but if you have what are known as special edition cards, they make this a breeze because it makes it just that much easier. You can take one loss, but after that loss, if you lose, then it's just you get however many you win. So if you only win, let's say you win 4 matches, but they were only worth about three each, that means you only get 12. But if you go all the way and you were to do 3 each, that'll be 15, which means it'll multiply by 2 to 30. So that's the gist of that. King of the Ring can be a little bit different. They change it a little bit here and there, but I'll give the brief summary. You take 10 of your cards and 3 supports, you throw them into a deck. And so it's 3 females, 7 males. Generally try to make sure your males and females are equaling out a diamond. Even when you hit autofill, it sometimes gives you this conundrum where you have that happening. Don't let it. Try to figure out what cards are compatible, which are the compatibility aspect is basically create a diamond. So if you're seeing an arrow pointing to the left, find an arrow that points to the right to be compatible. And so you'll basically go, first round will be best of 3, second round I believe it goes best of three the first round. Second round, I believe it's best of three again. I may be misremembering it. And then the rest of the way, it's best of five until you get to the championship. And then it's best of seven. And your rewards are basically based upon whatever tier you are. It does not. You can change what cards you have in there. You don't always have to have your best cards, because having your best cards, your opponents may have cards that are just um, the best way to put it, light years better than yours, or even just have them in the right places, and you just end up getting stomped. Or I don't want to say you're going to get stomped, but it's generally a situation where your opponents give you a it can be toxic sometimes. Over here we have what is known as leagues. It used to be called PvP. Recently they changed it to leagues, and they added the doubler multiplier and the 4 times multiplier. I I really don't care for those in particular, but you have your war, which will give you a decent a small amount for points. Royal Rumble, I feel like, gives you a lot. Um, Elimination Chamber will give you somewhat of points too. Royal Rumble probably gives you more if you win the most, I feel like. And then you have what is known as Survivor. Survivor does not have any of your cards. It randomly selects a tier. You get a handful of cards and you work with them. And basically, round by round, there will be 10 people involved, including yourself. You'll run through a series of matches, and it's a it's a round robin style fight where you'll be facing people. It's a best of three as far as the match itself. All you have to do is win 2 matches to there's 3 rounds within the match. I should say, can't say matches. There's 3 rounds within each match. All you have to do is win 2 of the rounds. If you tie and you go and the match result ends 2-2, it then becomes a randomizer as far as who will win. And you don't want that. Believe me, you don't want that. Um, your best choice is know who you're going to use right away, know who you're going to pro right away, and I will get to what proing means in a minute. And this was most recently that they decided to add what was known as the leaderboard. Really doesn't matter, I don't think, in the long run, but it might. I think it just matters in your specific league, because there's leagues for each group, because you're not linked up with everybody all within the game. I mean, there is a global leaderboard, but yeah, I'm nowhere near that global leaderboard. So yeah, I wouldn't even be touching anything on here. Less said about that, the better. Um, so yeah, if you reach 20,000, you get a chance at what is basically Jacob Fatu, and I believe that's what happens when you hit 20,000, and you get 2 of each. So you'll get Lita as well. So the rewards are worth it, believe me. So you get 6 exclusive picks. Exclusive picks bring you to an exclusive draft board. So normally you would see what is your normal draft board of 25 cards, and you would just pick from it, and you would just get what is basically whatever the lowest tier is. Your lowest tier currently is WrestleMania 41, Unhinged, and then your lowest possible tier to pick from would be SummerSlam 25. On the exclusive board right now, it would be your lowest, so it would be whatever your tier is, and then it would give you 2 tiers below it to give you variety. So you would have, so right now I'm what is called ignition tier, and that would also give me access to void and eon tier. So that's what I would have access to. Also in this, not only with these rewards, but there's also what is known as challenges. Each one was do 10 of each match, and now it's just left with this, and you get points added to your PvP, which is nice. And the best part, I would say, Survivor is probably the best one to do, in my opinion. So now we come to what is obviously what has been shown on screen this whole time, which is Super Showdown. This mode is it's very difficult to explain as a whole. So the way to explain it is you're given 16 cards to work with, and you battle each round you're battling an opponent. And the way it works, it randomly picks a certain you'll have like you'll have multiple rounds, and sometimes you only have one round. So basically it'll be multiple different criterias you have to meet. And if your cards don't meet those criterias, they have a total stat of 0, which is so much fun. You have what are known as cheats, which allows you to change what the criteria is, or you also have what is redraw, which basically tosses out the hand you have for 4 new cards, or you could have cards already in play, but you want to dump the rest for better cards because it may require you to use your whole hand. Problem being is you have to be careful because you could run out of cards, because if it goes best of 5, you run the risk of running out of cards. But as you win, you continuously build up. So every time you win, you get 10 points, and you build up to getting these rewards, and you get round rewards too. So the more rounds you win. Now, when I say rounds in this aspect, it means there are matches within the rounds, and so it's the best of 5, best of 3. Sometimes it's only a one and done. Just understand that that's what it's coming to. Um, future episodes, we will be doing more on Super Showdown, and you'll get to see what that's all about. Now here we have what is known as Boom. Boom is it's a very interesting concept. You get a 15 square grid, and basically you have cards that point to certain aspects of the grid. Your basic objective is to score higher than your opponent. And certain cards do either positives, negatives. So positives to you, negatives to your opponent. There's also the cards that do negatives to all, which means you have to be careful with them because they can damage you as well. Or positives to all, which could add to your opponent's total score. But sometimes it's okay to have them when you're looking straight ahead and you're like, okay, I want to cut off their ability to get any further. Let me cut them off by using this card. Sometimes it's okay to use it. Again, this will be another one we'll be addressing in a future installment. We'll be talking more about that and playing more on that one. That'll be another mode we'll be doing. Now we've come to the so tonight this was going to be what we were going to do before I came up with something else entirely. I've thought of better introducing you guys to the game first before we started going off and doing everything that there is. So, campaign mode is basically a mode to challenge yourself. You'll battle against preset decks by Cat Daddy, the Supercard creators, the the dev team. They will add more, and as you climb up the ladder, it gets really difficult. So you want to make sure your decks are prepared. Always try to have your strongest cards ready to go because you never know when you're going to face the, for lack of a better term, you're facing the ultimate challenge. This is what this is. Because when you get near the top is when it really starts ramping up. Usually right around when you cross this threshold is usually when the kid gloves are off and now it's done being nice and now it's going to start kicking your butt. But we will get there at certain points. People have already started getting there. It's only the second day, so we will discuss more on that. So now, I mentioned proing. So we're going to talk about a little bit about that. So what I have here are my, let's keep all the cards that are not, might be just easier just to give an explanation of the current tiers. So these are all the cards of the current tier. So I can probably see some people questioning, Josh, how do you have all these cards already? Or and like this? Well, it's because I stream on Twitch. And this is when, and you can pretty much find me streaming on there every day. This shameless plug. Yeah, shameless plug. I'm allowed to do shameless plugs. But getting back to the obvious. Some are battle pass cards, which you gain through purchase, which you don't have to purchase. You don't have to. Nobody's making you. No one's telling you to. That is totally up to you. You get certain special cards if you do, but you don't really have to. It's just something a little extra that I do because I do a little extra. But when you pro a card, there are two things you need to make sure of. If you're going to pro a support card, you only need to make sure of one aspect. Make sure that bar is at 100. I know it says 105 right now, but just understand you need both cards to be at 100 when you pro it, because that way you're getting the maximum effect of that card. And once that is done, you can pro it. Once you have it pro'd, that's it. You don't have to worry about anything else. You basically can fortify it any way you choose. When you do a superstar, you need to have their level at 100. You need their matches to be at 100. Both superstar cards. Once that's done, any subsequent superstar you acquire afterwards can be whatever level. You can dump them right into it to get them to fortification 3. But remember, you need both cards to be at 100 before you pro them. Because if you don't, you're not getting the full power of the card. So to give you a good example of a fully powered up card, This is what Andre the Giant in Eon tier looks like, fully fortified, fully maxed out. Everything's maxed, everything's done. The variants are different things that are different styles of, there are different types of variants throughout this, throughout the game. I am literally like trying to come up with the right words for this. It's not helping us. So they're a specialist, which means use the ability your card has, which you have to trigger it, which sometimes can be a nightmare because if it's only a 10% trigger, which he has, it can be a nightmare to trigger. Moneymaker is just winning Money in the Bank matches, but you have to overall win the match as well. The wild meter, same aspect. You have to win Money in the Bank in order for this to work, or else it doesn't work that way. King of the Ring meter, your card has to win King of the Ring. You're not in control of that because the only thing you're in control of is making sure to constantly make sure your cards are being charged. I will return there to explain that in a moment. The warrior meter means you just have to go into war and win with your card, and you have to win the overall match as well. It's not saying the overall match, but that's what you need to do. In the Royal Rumble, same thing. Use the card in the Rumble, and win the Rumble match itself. Cage Fighter, Elimination Chamber, same thing. Boom, the same thing. Well, Boom, it's just use the card. It has nothing. I don't think it's actually to use them for. I don't think you have to actually win the overall match in that. Bruiser, Speedster, and Showstopper are all, and Powerhouse. They're all basically, you got to use them. You got to use their ability. You basically got to win that match and win the overall match in order for that to count. At least I think that is what that one is, if I'm remembering correctly. And then a tag team match. Team players, a tag team match. Just win a tag team match, obviously. Then we have our different style of decks. We have the team deck, which I'm not on a team currently for obvious reasons, but there is a team event that runs every week, usually either a team Road to Glory, which is the Road to Glory currently, or the team Ring Domination, which is you're basically shattering shards on a card trying to break it to get to the next card. Your momentum slots, which depending on how well you did in league will allow you to have. So the better you do in league, the better momentum slot, the more momentum slots you have, the more you can use them effectively. Obviously, there's wild. This applies for wild, People's Champion Challenge, and war. You can apply it to all three, honestly. There's Last Man Standing. This is a locked. This basically goes whichever cards you have that are your top cards, they get locked in, and that's just the end of that. Road to Glory is whatever cards you want to lock into play with them. You don't have to use your top cards. Same thing with the Ring Domination deck. You don't have to use your top cards. It is just what you want to use. I usually take the time during these events to I usually take a few cards out to train lower cards that I'm working on, and so this way it'll give me cards that I can regain. Plus, during Ring Domination, there are bonus stuff on the board. Obviously, Elimination Chamber deck, Money in the Bank deck. The Royal Rumble deck is, I basically do it this way because I only want to work on a couple cards at a time, because if you try working on so many at a time, it makes it difficult, in my opinion, to do so. But you also got to take into account when you're looking at this that your opponent is having a deck of equal value, or their deck is a little bit better, but other cards are weakened. to make their deck equal yours. Just know that their deck will be somewhere in the middle of SummerSlam 25 in tier if you do it like I do. Clash of Champions, if it ever. Um, Same situation. It's a lock deck. Not much really changing there. War Games is a 3-ring fight. There are two aspects to it. There are obviously the two aspects are try to control all 3 rings and also use your special abilities that you get to your fullest advantage at times. Pay attention to what your opponent's playing because sometimes they get weakened and it makes it easier for you to claim that ring and claim another of the other 2 rings. And when you run super move, you can throw 1 card into each ring and basically claim all 3 very easily with that. Tag Team Takedown is currently running, which is basically you'll be teamed with another player and basically try to make sure you're going compatible as best you can. I usually work with somebody in my chat. Codebreaker is just you'll basically try to figure out 4 different directions. I usually just go 4 cards the same direction, and it'll either tell me how many are correct or not correct. It'll be what it'll be with when it comes to that. Giants Unleashed is another one sort of similar. It'll tell you what direction to use, and you just use those you'll attack with those cards. The more of those directions that you have, the more of those arrows that you have in your hand, the better. But sometimes you don't always get that to go to your advantage, so it can be a pain. But Giants Unleashed is the only event I can, with confidence, say that everybody can get a heroic card out of it. What is a heroic card? It's basically finishing off an event card, the 4 cards needed, and then coming back around and finishing it again and getting the heroic upgrade, which upgrades your event card even further. And if you're good enough that you have enough time, you can do a heroic pro. You have to wait for the next event to come out, which is the following week, and you do that. TLC is sort of like Battleship with supercards. Basically, you'll find where their pieces are hidden, and then you gotta fight. You gotta battle their cards and defeat their cards in order to defeat their piece. So once you defeated their cards, depending, it'll then show you what it was that the card was guarding, essentially. So battle. It is Battleship meets Supercard, essentially. It can be a lot of fun. They usually run it not too frequently, but it's ran enough where you feel good about it. King of the Ring we've talked about. Boom we have talked about. We have King of the Ring. So these lightning bolts are referring to your charges. These charges, you want to make sure you are charging up your cards. Excuse me. You want to make sure you're charging your cards and putting charges on every single one and maintaining that. So when you run a King of the Ring, you want to make sure you're going to be available to play and have something that'll be allowing you to play. So, but in actuality, if you're doing that, then I would recommend playing like Royal Rumble, Royal Rumble is probably the best one I would say to do because it's guaranteed to give you 12 cards if you win. And as long as you're keeping those charges going, it'll maintain. Because in actuality, I will say this, I usually lessen the male tag and the male and the female tag. Makes it so much easier. But yeah, that's that's just about everything as far as that goes. You do have your social, which is your teams to follow, which you can follow me under if you just type my name in, Josh the J System under there. The store on certain days does have special deals. You don't have to spend your credits on packs all the time, but there are sometimes free deals. The offer wall does have some nifty little trinkets on there, so take that what you will. If you take advantage of some of them when you can, there are some good ones, and sometimes they do run double the rewards when there's like a holiday or something special going on. But I think that's a good introduction to the game. I think you guys will be well, we will be heading into episode 2. We will be going into campaign, which is our major play. Um, One major thing is that um, I will be uploading VODs from my Twitch onto here as onto my channel as well. The reason being for this is there's going to be where I will be doing a stream, and then I will be doing a recording and then doing a video following at times. And they're both going to get uploaded around roughly around the same time. But you'll kind of get the full idea of to watch the VOD first. You might get some laughs out of it, if anything, but if you just rather watch the videos just because they're shorter, that's okay too. You don't have to watch both. That's totally up to you guys. But I believe that's going to do it. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you wouldn't mind leaving a comment, let me know how you thought the first episode went. If you really liked it, hit the hype button. Let YouTube know you want this video to blow up and go viral. You can leave a comment, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. This is JOSHTHEJSYSTEM signing out. Take care, everyone, and have a good night.